Okay, so in this list, what we're going to do is we're going to pick out the perfect squares and then write them as squares. So we're going to start with 49, and 49 is a perfect square, and if we write it as a square, it's going to be 7 squared. Okay, so 49 is 7 squared. C squared is a perfect square because the power is even. So if the power on a variable is an even number, then it's a perfect square. And we will write this, we'll see later why, but we're going to write it as C in parentheses squared. So if we have variables with an even power, we're going to write the letter inside the variable inside parentheses with the square on the outside. 16 is also a perfect square because 16 is 4 squared. And we can just for the sake of consistency, put parentheses around numbers as well. Now m to the power of 7 is not a perfect square. And the reason it's not a perfect square is because the power is an odd number. If you have a variable and you want it to be a perfect square, then that will be the case. It will be a perfect square if the power is even. Okay, so that's the first one we've seen that's not a perfect square. Okay, the next number we have is negative 25. Okay, well, negative 25 is not a perfect square because negative numbers can't be squares. So we're not going to include negatives. Okay. 1. 1 is a perfect square. 1 is equal to 1 squared. Now, the next two are important. We've got 4x squared. Okay. Well, 4 is a perfect square, and x squared is x times x, so that's a perfect square. So the way you write this one, when it's a combination of a number and a variable, is you put the combination inside parentheses, 2x, and put the power on the outside. So it's going to be 2x squared. And then we're going to do something similar with the last one, 81v to the power of 6. Well, that's going to be, again, it's a combination, so we're going to put in parentheses, it's going to be 9. Now, to figure out what the power on v should be, you just cut it in half. Okay, so if it was v6, that will be 9v cubed squared. Okay, so for even powers, we want to figure out what the power inside parentheses should be, just divide by 2. Okay, and that gives us our perfect squares. Okay.